The penalty. The veteran for the Bill Cook Super W. She's done it! New South Wales have won the Bill Cook Super W in extra time. And Ash Hewson, she wins it again for New South Wales. That's back-to-back titles for this New South Wales women's side. That is the ball game. Super W supremacy once again for the Waratahs. Their evil streak continues. To Rocco Uono. A new champion is crowned in the Super W. The Fijiana and Drua etched their name and nation into women's rugby history here in Australia.
Well, massive disappointment because a couple of weeks beforehand we played Fijiana at Suncorp and we put in a really good showing for about 35 to 45 minutes. And then the difference I felt between the two sides was not our rugby ability or our knowledge, but our fitness. We couldn't operate as long as what they could. We fell into fatigue and therefore our decision making was poor. So that was a little bit of a note for me to myself that, you know, we needed to act better. So fast forward then to the last round against the Waratahs down at Two Blue Stadium. We got well and truly beaten that day by a far fitter, far better side. We then came back to Brisbane with our tail between our legs and thinking, right, how are we going to do this? And the girls worked really hard. I came up with a game plan of what we needed to do to give ourselves the best opportunity for the semi-final. I thought we put in a much better effort, and that gave me a bit of a spur on that. If we can get our fitness level better, get our AP better, and we can stand and last in the games for longer periods of time against our opposition, we could win this thing. And that was our intent. So we got back from that weekend, we had a few meetings, we talked about a few things, and that was really when the plans started to get put in motion on what we needed to do to change the way that we were for 2022 to 2023. I sought Sione Fukafuka, who was one of the assistant coaches for the Wallaroos in the World Cup last year. He's been a head coach in QPR in Brisbane. He's been an assistant coach in QPR in Brisbane. He comes with a wealth of knowledge and sevens knowledge. So to bring him on board to run our backs and our attack shape has been really, really good. The girls have responded really well to him. He's a hard taskmaster. He looks for perfection, but when the girls realise that that's coming from a great space, they've really responded well, and we'll see that in our game on Saturday. And then on the other side, we've got Moses Relini. Again, he's been a head coach in QPR. He was at the World Cup last year with Fiji, running their defence. So when you put the three of us together, we've got a lot of experience coaching rugby, and they have the added bonus of being international coaches. Well, the first thing that we worked on was our fitness. We got data from Rugby Australia, from the Wallaroos, based on what their fitness levels were during the World Cup. And we also went to some of the other international teams to see what they had. And we put together a standard of where we needed to be. And then we worked backwards from there on what we needed to do to achieve it. Currently, as we stand, our fitness levels are up to that level of the Wallaroos. So what we're seeing is that the body shape of the girls has changed. So they're bigger, stronger, faster, they're fitter, they've got more lung capacity to go longer, and that's now transferring on the field in that they can mentally stay in the game longer and execute skill sets that we need to win the footy game. mate, absolutely. I mean, that World Cup last year, some of those games of rugby were outstanding. You could find your hardest male supporter and they would have watched some of those games and they would have brought on and gone, how good is this? It's a pure form of rugby. The ball gets zinged around. There's a lot of one-on-ones, two-on-one competition. So on the basis of that, you're right, mate. Women's rugby and women's sport in general is taking a massive leap forward. In this country in particular, there's strides in other codes, and we've probably, you could argue that we've been a little bit behind the 8 ball there, but not anymore. We've come into the light now. The girls are all contracted, as you said. The Wallaroos have got Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 contracted, so they've got 35 players that are fully contracted. And that's just going to get better and better. So if we project 4 years' time to the next World Cup, who knows where we're going to be, but it's going to be a lot further advanced from what we are today. I think we can win it. I mean, we're going into this competition not to just make up the numbers, we're going in there to hold up the trophy at the end of the year. And I know every other team will be saying the same thing, but deep down we really believe that. And that's been our mantra from day one. So what I'm excited to see is how far we've come from last year and how we can stay in the fight for a longer period of time and grind a game through and be patient and not panic and lose our way just because it's got a little bit hard or there's scoreboard pressure. So our mental strength, I think, is a really added bonus, and I'm looking forward to seeing that because I think that'll be the major difference from last year.